Hello, hello, and welcome to episode 112 of the Compassion and Cucumbers podcast. I'm Christine.
And I'm Sam.
And we hope you all had a really swell World Vegan Day. November 1st was World Vegan Day.
Sure was.
And this is World Vegan Month.
It really is.
Yeah.
The whole month.
Yeah. And in our main topic, we'll give you some ways that you can celebrate that, just to, tease you a little bit about what we're going to be talking about.
Sounds good.
Yep.
Yeah.
Also, hope you all had a happy, spooktacular Halloween.
How was your Halloween?
My Halloween was really fun. I went to my nephews to help them hand out candy because they live in a neighborhood that has like a ton of kids.
Yeah.
I think there was 150 kids came to the door or something like that. I don't know.
Impressive.
We ran out of candy. And unfortunately, Sam couldn't be there.
Nope. I had to work.
Yeah.
I had a tech rehearsal for a show that I was working on. So
yeah, that was too bad because my sister just brought a vegan food extravaganza.
Go, Linda.
Over to my nephew's house. She made these wonderful sandwiches, these veggie sandwiches. Mm-hmm. It was peppers. She sauteed peppers and red onion and mushrooms, and then sauteed that all up with some spices and then put cheese. She had two different kinds of cheese. She had a vegan Gouda and a vegan cheddar, I think. And then, and tomatoes. There were tomatoes. Mm-hmm. And then she put them on a really nice bun and then wrapped them in foil. And then when she brought them over, we just popped them in the oven. They were spectacular.
Yeah, I actually got to have one the following day.
Yeah, you brought one to lunch.
Yes, I took one for lunch. Oh, actually, I guess it was 2 days later because you came back on the 1st. So I must have taken it for lunch on the 2nd.
Yeah.
But it was really tasty.
And she also brought a bunch of stuff that she and a friend of hers went to a Trader Joe's, I think in Cleveland.
Okay.
And prior to her going to Trader Joe's, she said, what things should I get when I'm there? And so she got all the things that we usually get, the samosas and
the
gyoza. And so she brought all these snack foods and we made those all up.
Nice.
It was such a good time.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I'm sorry I couldn't be there, but
I am too. Because, oh my God, the kids and their costumes, really entertaining.
Yeah.
So entertaining. Love to see them.
Glad you had a good time.
I did. It's kind of sad that we don't get any kids in our neighborhood at all.
Yeah, I'm seriously the youngest person in the neighborhood.
Yeah, right. And I kind of miss decorating for Halloween and stuff, but there's really no point when there's no kids in the neighborhood.
Yeah.
So, so I hope you all had a good and a happy Halloween. Something I wanted to mention that is not on Sam's outline, but it's on mine.
Oh.
And I'm sorry, it was just added on today because this just happened. I don't know if you know who Karen Davis is. She's the founder of the United Poultry Concerns, and they are an advocacy group that fights for the rights of poultry and turkey. Well, turkey are poultry, I guess, right?
They are, yes.
Chickens and turkeys and
ducks, geese.
Yes.
Yeah.
Feathered animals that are in the animal agriculture. She just passed away.
Oh.
Yeah, and I met her last year at the Hope for the Animals conference that I attended.
Oh.
Yeah, she was such an amazing advocate, and it's a real loss. So,
oh wow,
just wanted to mention that and
sorry to hear that.
Rest in peace, Karen Davis, and I'm sure she'll be missed by everyone that she touched.
Yeah.
Hey, Election Day is coming up.
It is. Tomorrow, in fact.
It'll actually probably be, if you listen to this on the day it comes out, I hope you voted if you're in the United States of America.
I hope so too.
Yep. Check those ballot questions and read them carefully because they do try and trick you with those sometimes.
It seems like it every now and again. Yeah.
Well, it seems like sometimes they're like a riddle, and you have to figure out okay, if I say yes, what exactly does that mean?
Yeah. What am I agreeing to here?
Yeah. You really have to dig into those.
Yeah.
So it's always good to do a little bit of homework before you go to the polls. Mm-hmm. A lot of people have voted early. I think my sister said they already voted.
Oh, really?
By mail or something.
Okay.
Weeks ago.
Well, I know Chautauqua County did early voting at the fairgrounds for the last week.
Yeah.
I think so.
But we go on election day.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah. What else have we been up to?
I mean, not a whole lot. This past weekend, I took you to see a couple of shows, a dance concert at the college.
Which was great. Sam had a piece in that, which was beautiful.
Thank you so much.
Yep.
And then Saturday, we went to see the production of Young Frankenstein at Main Street Studios.
That was really entertaining.
It was really funny.
It's a funny show.
It is a funny show.
Yeah.
Yes. And so we saw that on Saturday. And then Sunday, we did our shift at the Lakeshore Humane Society.
So many kittens.
So many kittens. Oh my gosh.
It's like kitten season never ends now.
It does kind of feel that way.
Yeah.
Yeah. But there's this quartet of boys in this one kennel.
Yeah, they're kind of nut jobs.
They are nut jobs, and they're all brothers.
Yeah.
The four of them, and they're just amazing. And I want to bring them home, and Christine will not let me. Particularly Mikey.
Yeah, they're really cute. There's two gray and white tabbies that look a lot alike, and then two ginger. They're kind of like muted gingers, and they're all brothers. But it's so funny that two of them look like one way, and the other two look
another way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, so many of them. They're so cute.
They're amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we have 4 of our own that we've given homes, and I'm sure that Mikey and his crew will find a loving home.
I'm sure, but you saw Mikey is just supposed to be mine.
We go through this every Sunday.
Mikey has adopted me.
We go through this every Sunday. That is one of the downfalls of volunteering at an animal shelter is you
get attached.
Yeah, you really do.
Yeah.
You get attached to them, which is why we can't foster, because we would be foster fails every time.
We would. Every single time.
Yeah.
We would never be able to.
No, we would just have a house
up.
full of animals.
We would.
And we have enough animals to take care of right now, I think.
So you say.
Yeah, so that's what we've been up to. Hey, we're in 10 days.
In 10 days. 10 days from right now, we will be on a plane on our way to London.
London, baby.
London, baby.
Yeah, we're going to the Veg Fest UK at the London Olympia National.
So excited.
It's 2 fun-filled, vegan-filled days.
November 18th and 19th.
Yeah, that should be a blast.
Oh, so looking forward to it.
Looking forward to it, and looking forward to all the other great things that we're going to do when we're in London, and then looking forward to telling you all about it.
Oh, yes. There will be much to talk about.
Yeah, should be. What else? Oh, hey, I always want to remind you not to forget to follow Sam's Etsy site. It's Cucumber Craftworks. I know she doesn't want to toot her own horn, so I will toot her horn for her. So
okay.
So go to Etsy. Look up Cucumber Craftworks. Follow the store. It's kind of like you're favoriting it or whatever.
Yeah.
And look at some of her really great vegan knitwear and jewelry and all that jazz.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, we'll be getting some new stuff up on the site.
Yeah, we keep saying
soon.
that.
We do, but we really actually have to do it.
Life is busy.
It is busy, but I think this weekend we really need to put some time aside.
All right, let's do it.
Okay.
Let's do it.
Great. Thank you.
So next week we'll be able to say
there's new stuff up on the site.
We did that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hoodies for the Homeless 716 is once again accepting donations of gently used hoodies and warm clothing. And your donations can be dropped off at Wellness in the Village at 13219 Broadway in Alden, New York, or at State Farm Insurance at 209 Main Street in East Aurora. So if you're in the Buffalo area and you have some gently used warm clothing, please consider donating it to Hoodies for the Homeless 716.
Indeed.
What's next on our agenda?
I have a feeling our next thing is this week's recipe. It's a listener recipe.
Oh, it is a listener recipe. So here's this week's listener recipe of the week. Well, I said I was going to give it to you, and I'm giving it to you. This week's recipe was Ray Rios's healthy mac and cheese recipe.
And this is from the Great Vegan Mac and Cheese Cook-Off at the Vegan Center. Not this past weekend, but 2 weekends ago.
Correct.
And so we got our first taste of this at the Mac and Cheese Cook-Off. And Christine was just all kinds of ready to make it.
Yeah, I totally wanted to try it out since he was kind enough to share his recipe with us. So I had a lot of fun making this recipe because any recipe that lets me use my Vitamix is a good time for me.
Nice.
Yeah. And it's all whole foods. There's no fats or anything in it. And it's a really solid recipe.
It really is.
For like a cheese sauce. And really you could use this for so many different things. Mm-hmm. You could make like dips and, quesos. You could do quesadillas with it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just really clean and cheesy tasting because of the nutritional yeast in it. Gives it that cheesy kick.
See, now for me, it doesn't read as cheesy.
Really?
It doesn't at all. I get like a little bit I definitely get vegetables.
Yeah.
I definitely get the carrot.
Yeah.
In there. And I love the kind of hit of smoke from the paprika.
Yeah, there's smoked paprika in it.
It's really beautiful. Mm-hmm. But it doesn't read as cheesy to me. Now, that's not a negative.
No.
It just tastes like a really clean veggie sauce to me, as opposed to a cheese sauce.
I gotcha.
But it's absolutely fabulous, and I'm so glad that you made it because, of course, at the mac and cheese cook-off, we only got to have a couple bites.
Yeah, we just sampled it.
Yeah. So,
and Sam said it tasted just like Ray's.
It did.
So
it did.
There you go.
Yeah. So the recipe is solid, and Christine did it justice.
Yeah, we have leftovers, so we'll be having that again.
Cool. Love it.
I made like a small salad for us, and we just had the mac and cheese on the side, and it was kind of a perfect pairing.
It's a wonderful meal.
Yep.
Love it.
And we'll share that recipe with you. I'll probably just put it right here in the show notes. So if you want to make Ray's cheese sauce for yourself, go ahead and try it and let us know what you think. And I'll pass that information on to Ray because I'm sure he'd really be interested to hear what other people think of it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yep. But it's a great recipe. Give it a shot.
It's time for our Noteworthy section. What is noteworthy? Well, originally in our Noteworthy section, I wanted to talk about how some jurors in the Sonoma County were having a hard time coming to a verdict in an animal activist trial that was going on, and that the judge had urged them to deliberate further.
And they did. So this is coming from the Press Democrat on November 1st. And at that time, deliberations were entering a sixth day after jurors told a Sonoma County judge on Wednesday that they couldn't agree on a verdict for 3 of 4 counts in the trial of an animal activist charged in connection with poultry farm protests near Petaluma in 2018 and 2019. Just after noon, the 4-person of the jury of 4 men and 8 women in the trial of Wayne Hsiung, co-founder of controversial animal rights group Direct Action Everywhere, advised Judge Laura Passaglia they could not agree on a verdict.
Yeah, you may have heard us speak on Wayne in the past. We actually did a, what would you call it? A panel or what would you call the right to rescue thing that we went to?
It was like a seminar.
Like a seminar.
Yes.
We went to a right to rescue seminar with Wayne earlier in the year.
Yeah.
I want to say. And he's a very passionate animal advocate.
Indeed.
Okay, continue. I'm sorry.
So he said that jurors had been unable to reach a decision on 3 of the counts against Hsiung after they'd taken more than 9 votes, which the 4-person described as very lopsided. In general, it was 11-1, he told the judge. He did not specify whether that was 11-1 in favor of guilty or not guilty. Also, the specific counts they were held up on weren't mentioned. Passaglia, nevertheless, told the jurors to return to the jury room and continue to discuss the case.
Well, and they did that.
Indeed.
And in the meantime, we ended up with a verdict. And it's not exactly what we were hoping would happen in this case. No, Wayne was found guilty in this open rescue case.
This now coming from Sentient Media on November 3rd. After 6 days of deliberation, a Sonoma County jury handed down a guilty verdict in the case against Wayne Hsiung, an animal advocate and co-founder of Direct Action Everywhere, the animal rights group otherwise known as DXE that organized an open rescue of 70 chickens and ducks from farms in Petaluma, California. For the last 8 weeks in the Northern California courthouse, witnesses have been called and questioned. Jurors have carefully listened, and a judge has presided over a seemingly simple question. Should people have the right to rescue animals in distress from factory farms? Though the trial started with 3 defendants, Wayne Hsiung, Cassandra King, and Priya Sawhney, King was dismissed on day 1, and Sawhney accepted a plea deal, leaving only Hsiung, who has now been found guilty. Hsiung, who chose to represent himself, was convicted of 1 count of felony conspiracy to commit trespass and 2 misdemeanor trespass charges for entering the poultry supplier Sunrise Farms, while the jury was unable to come to a decision on the other charge of felony conspiracy to trespass for entering Reinhardt Duck Farm. Immediately following the verdict, Hsiung was taken into custody, where he'll stay until his sentencing on November 30th.
Wayne has mentioned that the conditions that these birds were being kept in was horrific. There was cases of cannibalism happening, dead and dying birds being trampled on by other birds. He said it was pretty hideous, which is why he was willing to, put himself out there to try and save some of these animals. And a lot of that information he wasn't even able to talk about it in court, which is unbelievable to me. I mean, believable, but unbelievable.
Right. It's really quite interesting. And there seems to be a feeling that the judge wants to keep the trial hidden from the public. Early on in the trial, Judge Passaglia, who has been endorsed by the Sonoma County Farm Bureau, placed a gag order on the defendants, preventing them from talking to the media, a decision condemned by the ACLU. Mm-hmm. And very similar to the gag order that was placed on Tracy Murphy.
Yeah.
In her case.
Yeah, it seems like frequently these defendants' rights are being trampled on.
It certainly does.
Yeah.
Now, on top of the gag order, Passaglia consistently barred the defendants from introducing what could have been damning evidence, specifically the name and symptoms of a deadly disease spreading on the duck farm and much of their footage capturing conditions where animals are housed. Passaglia did allow testimony from Michael Weber, co-owner of Sunrise Farms, that there were no sick and injured animals on the ranch in any of the buildings on the day the activists entered. He further claimed under oath that the chickens on his farm lived stress-free lives. When challenged during cross-examination, however, he admitted that the birds would in fact routinely cannibalize each other.
That's not a natural behavior. I mean, I know people that keep chickens. Chickens do not cannibalize each other.
No.
When they're in stress-free environments.
That's right. According to the trial's social media account on X, formerly Twitter, further restrictions were placed on animal rights organization DXE's courtroom sketch artist, who until September 25th was unable to document what was happening in the courtroom, and then was only able to sketch Hsiung. The judge wants to keep this trial hidden from the public, reads a post on the account.
Yeah, and of course they do plan on appeals. And we'll see what the sentencing brings on the 30th.
We certainly will.
But Wayne is in jail without bail. So he will stay in jail until at least the 30th when his sentencing hearing happens.
Yes.
So I guess we should all keep an eye on that. It just, every time one of these trials comes up, the fact that the evidence is being barred from being presented is so disturbing.
It really is. If nothing else, defendants should have the opportunity to present all relevant evidence in their case. Mm-hmm. I certainly don't agree with the gag order. As we've said in the case of Tracy Murphy, if you are specifically saying you can't talk about the case, that's fine. But if you're just saying you can't talk to the media or you can't be on social media at all for any reason, to me, that's a very, very clear First Amendment violation.
Yeah.
So, and then on top of that, to not be able to bring evidence in your defense, to not be able to present the conditions that these animals are living in. When one of the plaintiffs admittedly perjured himself by saying his birds were living stress-free and then later admitting to the cannibalization.
Yeah, and he didn't have to prove that.
Right.
In any way. He could just say it and
it was accepted.
Yeah, and the jury has to take that as fact. The guy was speaking under oath. So, yeah, the fact that he could just, say, my birds they're living stress-free and that the conditions are good with no evidence.
No evidence,
being
no documentation,
provided.
No photography, no video, nothing required to say, my birds are just fine.
Yeah, and evidence to the contrary is not allowed.
Yeah.
It's
ridiculous.
Unjust.
Entirely.
Yeah, we'll be following that.
We sure will.
Yeah.
In the meantime, we wish Wayne all the best, of course.
Totally.
And, wanted to know we're in his corner. And
yeah, we're in his corner. I mean, I might not always agree with how DXE advocates, but I do agree that they're doing a good thing.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you don't have to agree with the tactics all the time.
Mm-hmm.
It's not about that. There's no question that what they are doing, regardless of whether or not you agree with the tactics, that what they are doing is very valuable work.
Bringing it to the forefront.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah. Wayne, we're in your corner. And,
free Wayne.
We'll be watching.
And that brings us to our main topic. Our main topic this week is World Vegan Month.
So, having been kicked off by World Vegan Day on November 1st, World Vegan Month is celebrated globally as a time recognizing how far the vegan movement has come, how accessible living plant-based and vegan can be, and as a time to encourage the veg curious to adopt or explore veganism further through trying new restaurants, recipes, and ideas. It's also a time to consider and acknowledge how beneficial this lifestyle can be to the environment, our communities, and the animals.
Most importantly, the animals.
Most importantly.
So the celebration of World Vegan Day began in 1994 in commemoration of the Vegan Society's 50th anniversary. The Vegan Society was founded in November of 1944 by David Watson, L.C. Shrigley, and 4 other non-dairy vegetarians.
The group felt that there was a need for a more accurate word to describe them, finally settling on vegan, or the beginning and end of vegetarian. In 1949, Leslie J. Cross noted that the society lacked a definition of veganism, separate from the definition of veganism that was already in existence, leading to the definition of veganism as seeking, quote, an end to the use of animals by man for food, commodities, work, hunting, vivisection, and by all other uses involving exploitation of animal life by man.
Yeah, and then the definition underwent another evolution in the 1980s, now reads what we know today, a philosophy and way of living which seeks to exclude, as far as is possible and practicable, all forms of exploitation of and cruelty to animals for food, clothing, or any other purpose, and by extension promotes the development and use of animal-free alternatives for the benefit of humans, animals, and the environment. In dietary terms, it denotes the practice of dispensing with all products derived wholly or partly from animals.
So you might be wondering, what can you do to celebrate World Vegan Month?
I'm wondering.
Are you now?
I'm wondering.
All right. Well, I've got some thoughts. So,
good.
Number 1, you can incorporate more plant-based foods into your diet.
Yeah, if you're not already vegan, this is a good opportunity to do that.
Absolutely. So try out a new recipe, maybe something like a lentil chili or a pumpkin mac and cheese, or create something of your own. Veganize one of your own favorite dishes.
Yeah, or make Ray's mac and cheese that we just talked about
beautiful
tonight.
Mac and cheese that we just talked about.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
You can have a vegan potluck with your friends.
I think we should do that. We haven't had a that would be so much fun.
I know. We should have a vegan potluck.
I really think we should.
Yeah. After we come back from London, we are going to some friends for a pierogi making party.
So cool.
That should be fun.
Can't wait.
Yeah. But we'll be flying home on
Thanksgiving Day.
So we can't do a vegan Friendsgiving.
No.
But a vegan potluck would be a good time.
Yeah, I think we should work on that.
Yeah, and that's a great way to celebrate it.
Totally.
Right?
Yep. If you're working on reducing or limiting your own animal product intake, try out a plant-based analog to dairy or meat. There are loads of awesome makers of vegan cheeses and meat-free meats, including the Herbivorous Butcher, Punk Rock Labs, Tempeh Tantrum. Of course, we all know Beyond and Impossible and Tofurkey, and the list goes on and on and on.
Yeah, I would love to go to the Herbivorous Butcher.
Me too.
In Minnesota.
Yeah, that'd be pretty great.
Would be. Hey, connect with those most impacted by the farming industrial complex by visiting a farm sanctuary. We love going to farm sanctuaries, and every time we do, it solidifies our why, right?
Oh, absolutely.
There's tons of farm sanctuaries across the country, so Google it in your area and see if you can visit one soon, because it's a really great experience.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, and just local to us here in Buffalo, we have a number of sanctuaries.
Yeah.
Of course, we have Mockingbird Farm.
We have Mockingbird.
We have Asha Farm Sanctuary.
Asha, the Woodstock Farm Sanctuary.
Woodstock Farm Sanctuary, Penelope's Place. And of course, if we want to go a little bit further in state, we've got the Farm Sanctuary. Yeah.
Yep. Which we visited, and they're all doing different work and focusing their rescues differently. So I think that's why it's important to visit different farm sanctuaries and learn about their work and their missions, because they're all a little bit different.
Yeah, but all doing such amazing, important work.
Yeah.
You can always watch a documentary with friends. That's always a good thing. There are loads of documentaries out there covering topics like our societal dependency on consuming animals, the health impacts of a plant-based diet, and the environmental impact of our consumer tendencies. This could include stuff like the end of meat, Cowspiracy, Seaspiracy, What the Health, Earthlings, Forks Over Knives.
Yeah.
The list, again, goes on and on.
There's a lot of them out there.
There really are.
And some of them more easily consumed than others.
Yes,
So
absolutely.
Bear that in mind when you decide which one you're going to watch.
Yeah.
Consider who you're watching it with. If
Exactly.
it's somebody that's not vegan or isn't really super familiar with the plight of farmed animals, you might want to make it something, like Cowspiracy, or something that's not as graphic
Right.
and off-putting,
Yep.
but gives you the facts.
Yes. So Cowspiracy, What the Health, Forks Over Knives, The Game Changers, those kinds of things, they're really accessible. They deal more with the health benefits of a
Some
vegan
do.
life. Of a vegan lifestyle than do things like Earthlings or Dominion.
Yeah.
Like I said, I know I've said this before, but I can't get through the first 7 minutes of Dominion. I've never managed.
And I don't feel bad about not watching it, because we're not who should be watching it.
No, we're not.
I don't need any more graphic images of suffering animals in my brain.
I just can't do it.
I would recommend The Animal People.
Yes.
Which is about Jake Conroy and
that was a great one.
The group of advocates that were actually imprisoned for their advocacy work. There are a few scenes in that movie that have stuck with me, and Sam put her head under a blanket during a lot of it.
Yeah.
But most of it is very palatable and filled with some really good information.
Yep. Same thing with The End of Meat or Milked.
Yeah.
Again, some difficult scenes, but most of it is relatively accessible.
Yeah.
Like
and
I said,
usually there's fair warning before those scenes. You can tell when they're building up to something.
Yeah.
So.
And just be prepared with a blanket to stuff your head under. That's
Right.
what I do. As long as I have a blanket.
Who needs horror movies when you have vegan documentaries?
Absolutely.
What else can you do? Oh, share your story with other people. Share your stories of compassion and why you went vegan with other people.
Yeah.
Because not everybody knows why people go vegan. A lot of people, when they find out you're vegan, they don't ask you why. They often ask you, what do you eat?
Yeah.
But they don't often ask you, why did you go vegan?
Right. And if you'd like, I'd like to challenge our listeners out there to share your story of compassion and change with us.
Yeah,
so
I'd
that
love to hear.
we can share it with the rest of the world.
I would love to do an entire episode of listener whys.
That'd be amazing.
Why are you vegan, or why are you thinking of becoming vegan if you're not already vegan? Why are you listening to our podcast? Are you vegan curious? Mm-hmm. What is your why?
Yep.
I'd send them along. I would love to focus an entire episode on that.
Let's do it.
Yep.
I think that would be an awesome kind of holiday episode.
It kind of would be, wouldn't it?
Like maybe right around the new year.
Yeah, that'd be a good New Year episode.
I think that would be fabulous.
Yeah. So if you're willing to share your story of why you became vegan or why you're thinking of becoming vegan, please send that along to us. You can DM it to us on our socials or just drop us an email at compassionandcucumbers@gmail.com.
Mm-hmm.
That'd be awesome.
It would be awesome.
How else can we celebrate this month?
We can raise awareness. Raising awareness is always a good thing. Maybe lend a book on vegan living to a friend, or leave some pamphlets or leaflets or a magazine in a public waiting room, something like that. I know I keep pamphlets from Vegan Outreach in my office.
Yeah.
At school. I don't hand them out to everyone who comes in, but you never know.
But if somebody sees
every
one
now and again, somebody will say, "Oh, can I take one of these?"
Yeah.
And it's like, absolutely, please do.
Yeah, and when we're tabling anywhere, I always have a couple of stacks of those pamphlets from Vegan Outreach.
Yep.
They have a number of different ones that focus on different things. And I'm always thrilled when people want to take them. I'm always like, take these, they're free. If you don't want to buy a t-shirt or a sticker or a button, that's cool. But
totally cool.
Take one of these pamphlets.
Take the literature.
Yeah.
Yep.
Hey, there's an app you can download.
Yeah, there is.
If you want to.
It's called the V-Guide app.
Yeah, you can download the V-Guide app. It's developed by the Vegan Society, and it will get you started or help you continue on your vegan journey.
Absolutely. I would also, as far as apps are concerned, recommend nutritionfacts.org's Daily Dozen app. Helps you keep track of all of the nutrients you need as a vegan just by kind of checking off the 12 things that nutritionfacts.org and of course, Dr. Michael Greger, recommend that you ensure make it into your diet every day.
Yeah. So if you're a new vegan and you're concerned that you're not getting the correct nutrition in the way that you're eating as a vegan, then that's definitely a good way to go.
And then finally, always a good idea to support local plant-based businesses.
Yeah. This is one of our favorite things to do.
So true.
Anywhere we go.
Yep.
Look for the vegan businesses, visit them, support them, shout them out, make sure people know who they are, where they are, and what work they're doing.
That's right.
Yeah.
And so those are just some of the many ways that you can celebrate World Vegan Month.
Yeah. You can celebrate all month long and then just carry it on.
Keep it going.
Carry it on throughout the year.
We can make it World Vegan Year.
Let's just make it World Vegan Lifetime.
I love it. Works for me. Works for me.
And that will bring us to this week's tip on how to become vegan.
And today's helpful suggestion, and I actually think this is a helpful suggestion for anything and at all times.
Okay.
Study and learn.
Yes, spoken like a true teacher.
Truly. Becoming vegan can seem overwhelming at first. There is so much information to learn about how animals are impacted by animal agriculture, how workers in these industries are treated, the effects of animal products on our bodies, and the destruction that animal agriculture imposes on the planet. Take your time and learn as much as you can so that you can stand deeply rooted in your beliefs, as many people try to discredit and debunk veganism. Due to a lack of understanding of our food system, the climate crisis, and animal agriculture's impact on the planet and our health, people usually have a lot of questions for vegans. There are many great free resources online where you can learn about veganism, such as Free from Harm or A Well-Fed World, Vegan Outreach, the Vegan Society, and loads of documentaries and books that you can incorporate into your vegan journey. So just take your time and investigate.
Yeah, that's good advice because people do ask a lot of questions, and it's good to have well thought out answers in your brain prepared.
Yeah. Yeah. And I love being able to, when someone asks me a question about, whether it's a t-shirt I'm wearing, or every now and again, because I'm constantly wearing my Toronto Pig Save hoodie, because it's my favorite hoodie, they'll ask about, oh, well, what's that?
Yeah.
And to be able to explain it and say, oh, well, if you're interested and would like more information, go here.
Yeah.
Check this out. Try this book. Watch this movie. That kind of a thing.
Hey, guess what?
What?
It is time for what's been known as our favorite part of the show. As we say it in unison.
Love it. Must be listener shout out time.
It's listener shout out time.
Just want to give a shout out to all my fans watching. I love you guys. I love you.
This week's shout out goes to Maxine Grabowski. Maxine is a vegan, an active animal advocate, and a huge supporter of her local vegan community. Thanks for listening, Maxine, and for all of your work in your vegan community.
Definitely. Thank you for all the work you do in the Buffalo area, Maxine. Thank you for being a listener. And contact us with your t-shirt size and address so that we can send you a Compassion and Cucumbers swag bag to reward you. Really more to thank you.
Yeah, it's not a reward. It's a thanks.
Not just for listening, but for all the work that you do in the vegan community.
Yes.
In our area.
Yeah, in fact, Maxine was one of the prime organizers of the recent vegan mac and cheese cook-off.
She was, indeed. Mm-hmm. You can email us that information, Maxine. Again, we need your t-shirt size and address. So email us at compassionandcucumbers@gmail.com or DM us on Instagram or private message us on Facebook. Write us a letter, put a stamp on it, and send it in the mail.
And for the rest of you out there, would you like to get a listener shout out like Maxine? Well, send us a DM or an email letting us know you listen and tell us a little bit about yourself.
It's time for our Vegan Org of the Week. And this week, the vegan org that we're shouting out is New Roots Institute, known formerly as Factory Farming Awareness Coalition.
New Roots Institute is growing the movement to end factory farming through their classroom programs for both high school and college students, their fellowship programs that prepare students to become effective leaders in the movement, and their leadership collective that organizes members to more effectively use the knowledge that they've gained through fellowships. You can learn more about their work at ffacoalition.org.
I love what this organization does.
Yeah.
They're educating high school and college age students to go on to become advocates, which is really important work.
No, teaching advocacy skills is huge, absolutely huge.
Yeah.
I love the work that they are doing.
And I can't believe it, but it's already time to wrap this thing up.
Go figure.
It's just flew by.
It did.
Sometimes the time just flies by.
It really does.
We're almost to an hour.
Well, sometimes we just get into the groove, and yeah. Some days it just kind of flows and it's fun. And
And when you said that, immediately in my head was that Madonna song. Wasn't that a Madonna song?
Get into the groove.
Yeah, get into the groove. I can't keep singing it, or
don't keep singing it.
We'll get a trade or a copyright.
Right. Yeah,
whatever.
No, don't keep singing it. But yes, you are correct. That is a Madonna song.
Yeah, I don't know why, but it just popped into my head.
No,
so let's wrap this thing up before I just keep rambling on about Madonna and whatnot.
Go for it.
We always encourage you to join the AFA Vegan Voter Hub and support them in any way that you can. The Agriculture Fairness Alliance is lobbying in D.C. on our behalf so that your vegan voices and our vegan voices are heard. If you want to be included in that conversation, join the Vegan Voter Hub. We always have the link in the show notes.
It's time to sign off. You have just listened to episode 112 of the Compassionate Cucumbers podcast, and there's nothing left to say but where cukes and compassion are always the fashion. On the podcast.
Thanks, James.
Have a great week, everyone.
Hey, we'll talk to you next Tuesday.
We love you.
Bye-bye.
The end.
If you'd like to support the Compassion and Cucumbers podcast, well, you can do that by hopping on over to our Patreon page and becoming a patron. We have all the recipes from our Vegan Kitchen series up there, and we'll be adding some patron-only episodes in the near future. So thank you for supporting us at whatever level that you choose, and thank you again for listening to Compassion and Cucumbers podcast.